Aloha, welcome back to Aina Bear Farm. We're back here in the kitchen garden, and I just wanted to give an update. We had a couple of spring cleaning videos prior to this one where we really cleaned up a lot of these rows and got some things ready to get planted. So yeah, I just want to show you an update. This is the one place on the farm where the dog is not allowed to go. So of course, he's got to make a whole bunch of noise. We've got our carrots here, and we've been harvesting those good sized carrots. We have two different varieties, but I actually can't remember which one this one was, but they tend to be a little shorter. I mean, like 6 inches is probably about the max, but pretty fat, as you can see there. And then these are the Danvers variety that I grow pretty much every year because they're just reliably like really nice length and easy to harvest, tastes good. Yep, no problems there. Down here you can see the perennial peanut coming in the pathway here, coming in nice. And then these are 2 rows of okra. And we can see I've seeded clusters of 4 seeds, and we'll let them go a little bit longer. Choose the best one, and that'll be the one we keep. Down here, we have biochar in every row. It's been here for about 2 years. And as you can see, actually, here you can see some of the biochar that's made its way up to the surface. So constantly just kind of pushing that back under. And then this is just regular grass clippings that we pile on. You can kind of tell, like, when I peel it back, it hasn't rained in about a week, but you can still see moisture here as opposed to like here where it's drier and exposed to the sun. This is just pigeon pea that kind of self-seeds. I just leave it for a little while and then hack it back. And then there's some remnants of cover crop. This is mustard that was part of a cover crop in these 2 rows. We mulched that into the soil. It's supposed to be really good for nematodes, getting rid of some of the bad nematodes, because our okra tends to get nematode root knot, and so the roots get all tangled up and then the plants don't do that well. And so I've tried this before with some decent success, but I also think it may have had something to do with just stronger plants, because every year the soil's getting better in here. Got sun hemp, we've got this cranberry hibiscus, which also self-seeds, another row of perennial peanut down here. It's a lot more sun hemp. This is just kind of where we pile up some debris. You can see the Tithonia wall, the Mexican sunflowers, coming back really nicely. So we cut that completely to the ground this winter and chipped it, and this is some of those chips. So, once you get down an inch or so, it is really nice and moist in there and breaking down. Feeding the soil. This is Atli'i. It's a native shrub that we put in. You can see some kalo or taro that's poked its way back up. Got some watermelon, just getting started here. Got 2 mounds of watermelon that are in between. There's also cardboard underneath most of these wood chips. This is a native hibiscus. This is the first year where I've ever seen the Tithonia grow from some seed. And it's just because we had constant rain for 3 months. Otherwise, that's not a problem here, but I mean, you can see how easy it is to pluck out. And down here at the very end, some plumeria, where we are, it drops its leaves in the winter and then starts to come back in the spring. This is the row of turmeric, or olena, and I've put some pigeon pea in the middle to give that a little shade this summer, but it should start popping up soon. You got 2 rows of the olena. This row is still a little defunct. We do have some cassava in here. We've had problems with rats or mice digging down and eating the cassava, which it's full of cyanide when it's not cooked. So I would assume that messes them up pretty good. I don't know if anybody knows anything about that online, or comment on the video. I'm not sure. Down here we planted some more of the Suspania, and so we've got a few of those coming up really nice. And the goal is to create another shade area like the Suspania there, and so those are starting to come in. We have a lot of cassava popping up here, but probably remove that. We still have some white pineapple up here. I haven't really taken care of this patch all that much, but some of the more mature plants look like they're going to make some really sizable pineapples. So I don't know, kind of consider that just extra. The asparagus has started sending out some new shoots. My biggest problem with my asparagus patch is simply that I never really have enough to make it worth a harvest. So like this one here is totally harvestable. And then maybe one more over there, but I think right now that's all I could get out of this whole patch, is 2 spears of asparagus. It's one of those things where I always mean to plant more and I just never get around to it. But someday I will eat my own asparagus. We put in a couple trellises here, so this is new since the last videos. These are for tomatoes, and pretty common system with the T-posts and like the conduit up there. This is all just stuff that I had laying around, so I decided finally make a decent trellis this year as opposed to just using like a bunch of bamboo. And do have our tomatoes in. These are cherry tomatoes on this row, and I get my tomatoes from the Hawaii Seed Growing Network. So if you're not familiar with them, check them out. They're pretty cool. It's literally like a network of people in Hawaii who grow seeds that are well suited generally to our climate here. And so these are, I think, Tomito cherry tomatoes, and then slicing tomatoes up here are Old Brooks, which I have tried growing before, but I only had a few plants and they got put in really late in the year and didn't do well. This is actually the remnant of some other cherry tomato variety I've had before that have been getting cherry tomatoes off for quite a while. We do have a few decent papayas coming up there. And then this top row is sorrel or roselle. It's the hibiscus that makes the really nice red kind of flower pod that you can dry, and we make tea from it. It's like nature's Kool-Aid. So you can see we've got a lot going on. We still got some green onions. This is our summer squash that's coming in this row. We've got some Thai basil here and there that, if we cut it back, it'll start regrowing again. This is the African blue basil, which we use just as kind of a nice pollinator attractor. But yeah, like I mentioned, there's biochar in all the rows. This is all chipped Tithonia, which just came from our border plants. So my tomatoes are going to get that. They're going to get the biochar, which has been in for a couple years. And then they're going to get a homemade fertilizer where I just soak a bunch of weeds in water for a couple of months, and then I apply that diluted about every other week for quite a while, and plants seem to love that. And so between all those things, I would expect them to do pretty well. Oh, and then the last thing I want to mention, this system is going to be just winding the tomatoes up the string, which I've done successfully before. And those ones will be semi-pruned. We'll definitely prune the slicing tomatoes. But then also up here, just above the garden, you can see more T-posts. I have more cherry tomatoes in up there, and I'm going to try the weave method where you weave the string in and out, and then I will just let those grow totally crazy as long as they stay upright. And we'll do kind of a comparison, see what does better. Obviously their soil conditions are somewhat different, but just in terms of like how they do with fungal disease and productivity with tomatoes and all that stuff. So I'll let you know when we get some results on that. So yeah, here we are in spring. Things are getting going. Hawaii does have a year-round growing season, but there's certain things like you definitely cannot grow nightshades like tomatoes and eggplants and stuff when it's just pouring rain every day. They will get so rotten so fast. And that actually goes for quite a few other things. And so where we are, we get a very wet season, which is coming to an end now. And now we're starting to get a lot more sunshine and warmer days. But we do get nice trade winds. And so it keeps, the airflow and keeps the temperature somewhat regulated. But we're hoping that this being our 5th year of having this garden and building the soil, that we're really going to see some good results this year and have lots to eat for ourselves and share with friends and neighbors. So thanks for checking us out again. Come back and see us soon here at Bear Farm. Aloha.